Good afternoon and welcome to the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences PACE-bound event. We are the part of PACE University, and we have all of the majors that are in the arts and sciences. This is being run on Zoom as a webinar, not as a normal Zoom session. So you will notice that your mics and your cameras are not turning on. And if you want to communicate, please use the chat function. There's a button at the bottom of the screen, and if you click it on, you will see that you can write chats, and we have some of our advisors standing by to help you and answer all of your questions, in addition to any of the questions that I may end up answering for you. So I want to welcome you, and we're trying to give you a sense of the kind of event that we run if you were able to come to campus. Usually when I'm comfortable somewhere, I say that this is my home away from home. So today you're in my home, and this is my office away from my office. So welcome to what has become, over the last month or so, my world. I hope that you are finding a lot to keep you busy and distracted from what's going on in the outer world through Zoom and through other ways of communicating with people. Our program for today will be exactly the same type of program that we give when we are on campus. We're going to start with a presentation about Dyson College so you get a better feeling for what we offer, all the opportunities that we have for you to do all kinds of activities. And then I'm going to invite our student panel to talk to you about what it is really like being a student at PACE, the kinds of activities people have, and the kinds of interactions that they have with each other and with our faculty and with our staff. So if you'll bear with me a moment, I'm going to share my screen. So Dyson College is named after Charles Dyson, who was a student who graduated, believe it or not, in 1930, and who ultimately became chairman of the board at PACE University and really believed in the arts and sciences at a time when PACE had been primarily a business school. And with his participation and with one of the key presidents at PACE, we were able to create a well-rounded, comprehensive university that has several schools inside it. One of them is Dyson College, where you've applied, the Lubin School of Business, the Seidenberg School of Computer and Information Systems, the College of Health Professions, which also houses the School of Nursing, and the School of Education. All of these schools have both undergraduate and graduate programs, and then the Elizabeth Haupt School of Law, which has the law school, which is a graduate program, although we have some programs that are joint where you can go from 3 years of undergrad to 3 years of law school and graduate a year early if you feel that you want to go through the program that is that intense. You would have to talk to an advisor to make arrangements for it. So what makes coming to PACE interesting? What are the kinds of things you want to consider when you're deciding among universities, deciding where you want to go to school? And one of the things we really offer is a very welcoming campus inside New York City. New York City is a wonderful and, under normal circumstances, exciting and stimulating city. And we know we're going to get back to that point. So we hope that you will seriously consider coming and joining us in the fall. But in general, what you should be looking at are programs that interest and inspire you, not your mom and dad, not your best friend or your brother or sister, but something where you say, I can see myself here, and there are programs that really interest me. You want faculty who are accessible, that they're student-centered, they don't just live in the ivory tower doing their own work, but they want to talk to you, they want to be with you, and that they also have high levels of expertise in their field. You want students who are similar to you because you want to feel comfortable at PACE, that there's touch points, people you can talk to, but equally important, you want students that are really different from you, because going to college is about learning about other cultures, other groups of people, other ways of thinking, people that come from more rural areas than you do, more suburban, more urban, all mixing together and sharing their experiences and their ideas, because this is what will make you a real citizen of the world. And you want opportunities to grow, ways to explore, to prepare yourself for success, and to figure out who you would like to be as an adult. One of the nice things about going to college is that you can shed the persona that your high school friends are used to seeing and create the persona that you really want to be, because this is a whole new world for you to explore. So what does PACE offer you that would make you want to come? And one of the things we offer is a core curriculum. All of our undergraduates take this curriculum, whether they're in Dyson College or whether they're in one of the other schools, because these are the skills that you need to be successful in whatever career you want to pursue. Being able to write well, being able to speak to people, using technology and quantitative reasoning so that you can investigate problems that you may never have encountered and find ways of managing them. You have to have good critical thinking. You have to know how to do research because maybe you never heard of that particular problem. You need to be able to take all that information in and solve the problem, and from that solution, make a decision about what should be done next. And in addition to all of those skills, we also allow you to participate in community-based learning. We offer internships, we offer opportunities to volunteer, we offer courses that take you out into the community to work with the community and helping people in that community achieve their goals. So we try to give every undergrad student a very well-rounded experience that gives you both knowledge about topics outside your major field of interest, and that gives you an opportunity to have really high-level thinking skills. So when we talk about the arts and sciences, or even more succinctly, the liberal arts are not about a political persuasion. Liberal comes from free, and back in the times of the Greeks and Romans, a liberal education was the type of education that a free person, of course they would say free man, but that's another discussion, that a free person would need to be a participatory citizen in their culture. And so it's come to mean the arts, the humanities and communication majors, the social and behavioral sciences, mathematics, and the natural sciences. So these are all the different areas where we have major topics that you can really focus your education on. In addition to that, we have New York City, and we make really good use of the city. There are all kinds of internships and all kinds of companies all over the city. There's every type of ethnic food you've ever dreamt of getting to try. There are museums, there are plays, there are shows of all sorts. All of them build on your in-class education so that you become a well-rounded person that's knowledgeable, not just about your field, but also about discussing world issues. In addition to that, we offer you specific experiences that are both academic and outside of academia. So first, I'm going to present some of the academic experiences that you'll hear more about from our student panel. We provide you opportunities to do research projects with faculty. And we have had students that have worked in a faculty member's lab or worked on a problem with a faculty member, helped to write a paper, and then was able to go on to a conference to present the paper and even to be co-author on a paper. So there are a lot of research opportunities that we will help you find and coordinate. We have internships for credit. We have a career services office as well as our academic departments that have connections to industry and help you get an internship within your field that can earn you credit toward your degree, but also give you real experience. I've had students who've gone out on an internship convinced that they knew what they wanted to do in their career, went out on the internship, loved it, and came back and said to me, this is the perfect choice for me. And I had another student who went out on the exact same internship and discovered that this was the wrong place for him. So internships are really helpful in making a decision about what kind of job you want, what kind of environment you want to work in, and what kind of skills you're going to need to be successful in that field. As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of experiences that involve the community, that involve civic engagement. You can do civic engagement internationally. You can go to other locations, and you can do a lot of work in our region and locally to our campus. So if you're interested in that, we have the Center for Community Action and Research that can connect you to a lot of different community groups on a volunteer basis, as well taking a civic engagement course that's part of our core curriculum. We also offer study abroad. Obviously, this year, the study abroad will be highly limited, but again, once this coronavirus epidemic is managed, once there are vaccines, studying abroad will again become a feature, and we will resume all of our connections and make sure that we send you to safe places, but that you'll have a really interesting global experience. And quite frankly, that you'll be one of the people that can help bring the globe back together now that we've been cut off from each other and turning inward, so far inward that we're in our own homes even. But there will be a time when we come out again, and we want you to be prepared for that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we have combined degree programs that allow you to get both your undergraduate degree and a master's degree in 5 years instead of 6, and that allow you to get the law degree in 6 years instead of 7. And those programs are something you would want to explore with an advisor in order to know whether it's right for you. We also have a community that creates relationships that last a lifetime. We have over 180 full-time faculty just in Dyson College in New York City. They are scientists, scholars, artists, and practitioners that provide instruction across all the different majors and minors, and who will serve as a mentor if you reach out to them. On top of that, you will have a professional academic advisor from our advising office that will help you finish your degree on time, navigate the entire academic process, know exactly what you need to do to graduate, and even will assist you in getting internships and jobs from career services. And also, if you find that you have personal problems, like you're having difficulties adjusting, the advisors will help you find counseling or even be able to help you build your own schedule and help you manage the entire system. And finally, our career services will help you find internships as well as jobs after you graduate. And even when you're an alum, you can come back when you're doing your job transitions and talk to career services, and they will assist you in finding your next job. When I was a student, I was told that I would have 7 different jobs by the time I retired. Nowadays, people are saying graduates will have 7 different careers by the time they retire, and some of those careers have yet to be developed or invented because they will depend so much on changing technology and changing conditions. Just now, watching television, you see people that have never been highlighted before. You see not so much the doctors, because there are always television shows about doctors, but you see the first responders, you see the nurses, you see people called epidemiologists. Many of you may have not heard of people that did epidemiology, but as somebody who has done that, it's a field that you can enter from the medical side or you can enter from the science side, and you get to address problems like this pandemic, how to control it, how to create a model that projects it. So there are a lot of different kinds of opportunities and jobs you may never have thought of that we will help you think about. And when you think about it, we talk about having the PACE path. your particular way of getting through your degree program. It includes all of your curricula, all of the academic courses you have to take, but it also includes all the different learning experiences that will set you up with leadership experience, with friends that will last a lifetime, with people who share your interests, with people that will help you succeed. We have, not in addition to career services, we have a learning center that provides free tutoring, a writing center that provides free assistance with your writing, whether you're taking a course on writing or whether you're just writing in conjunction with some other course you're taking. We have counselors on financial literacy that will work with you and your family about finding the funding to get through college. The study abroad office that helps do study abroad placements. The Office of Student Success that tries to help you finish in 4 years or 5 years, depending on the program that you're trying to do. The Office of Multicultural Affairs and the LGBTQA and Social Justice Center that help you negotiate dealing with people that are like you, people that are different from you, people that bring a lot of different kinds of perspectives on the world, teaches you how to be an active, positive participant in a lot of different settings and with lots of different people, and make sure that you always feel welcome and that you have a place at Pace. And as I mentioned earlier, the Center for Community Action and Research that will help you with community activities. Our motto is that our college helps you integrate theory and professional experience so that you will have the success that you want. And most importantly, it is the success that you want. It is not our prescription for your success, but you're deciding what kind of career you want, what kind of life you want, what kind of ideas that really interest you and what you really want to study. And that is our role in trying to help you make those decisions and then achieve them. In addition to the academic activities, we support your development with a lot of extracurricular activities that give you skill sets that enhance what you learn in the classroom. We have academic clubs that connect to different majors. We have just interest-based clubs that may or may not have a particular academic focus. Whatever kinds of things interest you, from climate change to attending concerts to going to plays, whatever kinds of things interest you, if we don't have it, you can start a club and pull together other students that share your interests. You can participate in student government. We have self-care workshops. We have funding if you want to go to a professional conference, especially if you're working with a faculty member. We bring a lot of people onto campus so you can have that connection with the professional community, with the larger community, and just with public intellectuals. So we really try to create a vibrant campus environment that allows you to take advantage of all that New York City and this great urban area have to offer. So that's what we bring to the table. What we want you to bring to the table is a willingness to participate in your academics, to participate in the community, and to participate in the larger community outside of the university. So be prepared to attend your classes and come prepared to classes by reading ahead. Sometimes when you read ahead, you don't quite understand all of the ideas in what you read, but it's a good preparation for what you discuss in class, and then you can read things again and really get to understand them. Many of you are probably very socially adept. I will confess I was a math major. I even carried a briefcase when I was in high school, so you know which person I was there. And it was very hard for me to become somebody that was very socially active and connected. So for those of you who are like me, it's important that you commit to getting to know at least one new faculty member fairly well each semester. How do you get to know them? Well, usually it'll be someone teaching one of your classes. Maybe you'll go see them in an office hour. Maybe you'll see them on campus maybe they'll be the faculty advisor for a club that you're working with, but you want somebody that you get to know well, and therefore they will know you well. Because even if you only know one each semester, at the end of the 4 years, you will have 8 faculty that you can ask to write you a letter of recommendation, whether you're trying to get an internship, whether you want to go to grad school, a professional school, or you want to get a job. These are people who won't just say, oh, the student must have been really great in my class because I gave him or her an A. You want them to say, I really got to know this student, and let me tell you how great this person is and how great they will be in whatever you want to do next. So do that. In addition, make sure that you know someone in your class for each class that you take, someone where you exchange phone numbers, so you can connect to each other. If you have to miss a class, they can tell you what you missed. If you don't quite remember the date of the midterm, you can get to know from them because you are connected to each other. When my daughter was in high school and she took a class at the local college, her pen ran out of ink, and I said to her, well, couldn't you ask the student next to you for a pen? Never had occurred to her. So I want to make sure that it occurs to you that the students that are in class with you, even if you don't know them, they're willing to be helpful and they're willing to participate with you. And then get involved. Join a club, attend events, do some travel when travel is possible again, complete an internship, become a leader, really try to make the most of the college experience, whether it's online or whether it's in person. A lot of us have found that communicating online is not quite as good as communicating in person, but it really does provide a lot of connection. And so for the next few months, we may find that that is what we're doing. And one of the questions I'm going to ask the student panel in a minute is to talk about what it has been like having their classes suddenly in the middle of the term go online. So you can connect with us in a lot of different ways. You can come to the website of the college, which is at www.pace.edu/Dyson, because our college is named after Dyson, Charles Dyson, as I mentioned earlier. You can also look for us on Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, Twitter, and Instagram. And when you're accepted to PACE, we also have a private Facebook group that you will be admitted to that includes all the other students that are considering coming to PACE, and it's monitored by people who can answer your questions. So you can start getting connected to the rest of the PACE community already. And finally, if you contact me directly, and as you can see, if you look at my name at the bottom here, there are lots of R's and N's, very confusing. I once told someone my name was Nira Herman with 2 R's and 2 N's, and they wrote me a letter to NNIRRA and then HERMAN. So it taught me that no point using my name, but if you remember it's Dyson College and I'm the dean, you can write to me as Dyson Dean, no spaces, one word, at pace.edu. The caps do not matter. They're for the human reader. You can have the caps or you can just put it as one totally lowercase, but you will get to me. And in particular, what we usually do in an open house is after the student panel, we would invite you to come to the academic fair where you could go find the table for any major you were interested in. And you could get a fact sheet, you could talk to a faculty member. That's just too complicated for us to, we thought about how to do that online, decided it was too complicated. But if you send me through email, I know it's archaic, but send me through email your name, the major, one or more that you're interested in, the department that you're interested in, and an email address or your phone number, however you would like to be contacted. I will talk to the department, and either the department chair or one of the departmental advisors will get back to you so you can have a conversation and ask all the questions you have about your particular major. So please, if you remember nothing else, I'm the Dean of Dyson College, so it's dysondean@pace.edu, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you on this. So now I am going to stop sharing my screen and invite the panel to turn on their cameras and their microphones so that they can introduce themselves, and we can talk a little bit about what it was like when they sat where, at least metaphorically, where you are not. They were not in their homes as they are today. They were in the audience, but they do remember how difficult it is to make this decision when your friends and your family are suggesting that you try this or you try that and go to different places. You can see us one at a time. If you go on speaker view, then the speaker will show, but if you want to see all of us, go to the gallery view in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And I'm going to ask each of them, starting with Brooke, then Julianne, then Manya, and then Amber, to introduce themselves, tell you their major, what year they are, and how they made the decision to attend PACE. Who helped them, or what were the characteristics that made them want to come to PACE? So Brooke, if you would start.
Yes, thank you so much, Dean Herman. So my name is Brooke. I'm one of the student panelists today. I am a junior at Pace University on the New York City campus. I am a double major studying English and communications with a minor in journalism. Additionally, I am a part of a 5-year master program in publishing. So as the Dean was mentioning earlier, we have a lot of different combined programs on campus, publishing being one of them. So I'll graduate in 5 years with both my bachelor's and my master's, which is great for me because I'll be able to save a year of time and money, which is always helpful. Just to share with you a little bit more about what I do on campus, I am a tour guide. I also work for our school newspaper, the Pace Press. I am the treasurer on their executive board. Last year, I was the arts and entertainment section editor. I am also a peer leader, which means I work with freshmen just like you will be one day. If you are a freshman at PACE, you will get to take a first-year seminar class called University 101, where you will work with a professor/advisor and a peer leader like me. So it's one of my most rewarding jobs that I get to do on campus by getting to know the incoming class. And last but not least, I have had a lot of experiences off campus doing various internships. I've done about 6 different positions now with 3 different major companies, being Penguin Random House, W.W. Norton Publishing, and Viacom CBS. And then this summer, as long as we're back in person, which I really hope we are, I will be interning at Nickelodeon. So I'm very excited for that. I hope it will still happen. And then just to answer your question, Dean, a little bit about why I chose PACE. I was very attracted to the 5-year program. So I knew in high school that I loved to read and I loved to write. So naturally, the English major appealed to me. And when I learned that I could do it all in 5 years and get to explore the fields of publishing, that really helped me. And I hope that this experience is helpful for all of you prospective students today. When I was doing my PACE bound, of course it was in person, and it was really helpful to me because I did get to meet the English department and meet different students, and I found that it just really clicked. Being in New York City gives me, for me, the best location in the world, and it has allowed me to really grow professionally and have a lot of different opportunities like I've named to you before, and it's allowed me to grow personally as well by getting to develop my strengths as a student leader. So basically the publishing program really attracted me, and then what's kept me at PACE has been my involvement both on and off campus and getting to be both a student while I'm on campus and then a professional when I'm out in the world. So long answer, but I hope that that answered your question.
Yes, definitely. And we'll probe for some more details in the next round as well.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Julianne. I am currently a junior who studies philosophy and religious studies, and I have 2 minors in economics and history. The reason I chose PACE was I've always knew New York was my go-to city. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, but I just knew New York was the place for me. And for PACE in particular, it was just one of the schools that my guidance counselor recommended, but I visited PACE a few times, like Brooke was saying that she did as well. And the environment in PACE is just so welcoming. The community vibe is just something that's unlike any other school that I visited, so I really clicked with that. As well as all the people I had spoken to. So I was in contact with a lot of the departments, of course academic ones, but also like financial aid, housing. Everyone I talked to was just so nice and welcoming. And I really took that seriously when I was looking at colleges. So for me, PACE is just somewhere that you walk in and you instantly feel like you're home. So that's why I chose PACE.
Okay. Manya?
Hi, Dean Herman. Thank you for having me today. Hi, everyone. My name is Manya Goya, and my major is business economics, and I minor in finance. I'm a senior. I'm graduating this semester. So the reason why I chose PACE was because first of its location, I wanted to be in New York City, and economics department and the career services, they were a great pull for me because they're really very strong and cohesive, and they really help students out.
And Amberlyn?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. So hi to everybody who's attending. My name is Amberlyn Foote. I am from Daytona Beach, Florida. I am a junior at PACE on a pre-med track with a biology major and a psychology minor. So just to give you a little story, when I actually applied to PACE, let me backtrack. I applied to 22 schools before I knew PACE existed. And then once I got all those decisions back in late April of my senior year, it made me realize what I wanted in a university, and that was a small school in a city setting. So I quite literally Googled small schools in Manhattan, and PACE appeared in the web browser. And so I kind of just put my funds together and flew up to New York on a whim to tour the university. And as cliche as it sounds, I knew that was where I was supposed to be when I was on the campus tour for a variety of reasons. First being how welcoming everybody was. I immediately felt like I was a person rather than just a number, as I felt at a lot of universities on other tours that I visited. And then I also just the atmosphere, the opportunities within the science department. So as I said, I'm pre-med, so I'm actually in the process of applying to medical school right now. And so having the opportunities at my fingertips to get the experiences that I have so far, which I believe I'll touch on at a later point in time today. So I'm not going to talk about that yet. But just the atmosphere. And then last but not least, I will say really quickly that my tour guide mentioned, really what sold my mom was my tour guide mentioned that if you're a resident on campus and you ever have to go to the hospital in the middle of the night, your RA would actually go with you to the hospital. That way you're never alone in the hospital, like by yourself. And like that in itself, like my mom just like knowing that like her child going away to New York City all by herself would like have like a familial and community environment, and they care about you that much to where they'll actually go with you to the hospital. That speaks for itself about what type of community the university fosters. So I think that was the selling point, really.
And the fact that the hospital is literally across the street.
Literally across the street. And now full circle, I have been the RA, because I'm an RA with the resident at 3 a.m. at the hospital. So I've come full circle, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's New York Presbyterian, for those of you who are curious. All right, so what do you think makes PACE different from other universities? And this time we'll start with Julianne.
Yeah, so I think PACE is super unique in the opportunities that we offer. We don't just offer, an internship on Wall Street. I mean, if you want that opportunity, we have, the resources, the career services, we have the professors, we have everything. But we have opportunities for the students that love like academics. We have the research opportunities, we have leadership development. I think that like in my experience, I've gone through so many free leadership trainings just because I attended an event that was posted online or posted in the hallway. So I just think that for me, at least, like what makes PACE special and unique are just the endless opportunities that we have for the students.
And then Manya?
I second with her that we have all the opportunities and the resources on hand. So for me, personally, it was the economics department. I mean, the effort and attention that they give to each individual student. They're friendly, and they have, a lot of experience and different backgrounds, and they're still very cohesive department. And there are other resources like the Learning Center, Career Services, and everything is here. And if you know how to use them, everybody is ready to help you. So that was a really good selling point for me.
And Amberlynn? Oh, you have to turn off your mic on.
Sorry, I can't tell you how many times I've done that on campus tours this week. So I would certainly say, I mean, not to be repetitive, but the opportunities. But I mean, I think the fact that we're all saying the same thing just really speaks for itself. I also want to add that the diversity on campus is another huge thing. I think that PACE really believes, well, it's very evident that in PACE's perception as a university, every student is important and has something different to bring to the table. And that really is what enriches our community and makes it such a great place to learn, become professionals, and then head out into the workforce immediately after graduation. And then touching back on that, the resources and the opportunities available one more time. Really, PACE gives you so many different opportunities to excel in whatever environment you're in whatever regards you're talking about, whether it be academic, professional, social. Really, you have all of the resources there. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to use them. And so just to speak a little bit more about that, in the past 3.5 years, I have done more than I ever thought I would ever do. I've had more experiences, like as an RA, a tour guide, as a professional within the sciences, and also like just living in New York City, it teaches you a lot in itself. So being able to live in New York City and have that city environment with all of its opportunities while still having that small community to fall back on at the university has really just equipped me with all the skills that I need in order to be successful after graduation.
Thank you. And Brooke?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to emphasize what my fellow student panelists have said about the endless opportunities on and off campus. But just to go a step further, Amber was touching on this too a little bit. I think there's something really special that we have such a strong sense of community within such a large city. So New York City, there's so much hustle and bustle, yet I mean this so genuinely, there is such a home at PACE. I feel like I have gotten to know so many different people, and I've had so many different opportunities, and even just being able to be involved on campus, but then take the subway and commute to Times Square and intern every day. I kind of have like the best of both worlds. So I'm really grateful that I have found a small niche community within a larger metropolitan area. And like Amber said, she really captured it there when she said that I have had so many experiences that I never thought I would have. Just like a little fun fact, I mentioned earlier that I interned at Penguin Random House, and I was able to do that right after my freshman year. For me, it was the summer of 2018, having 1 year of PACE under my belt. And when I came to PACE, I turned to my mom and I said, I want to work at Penguin one day. And I did it after 1 year. So that was like a huge highlight for me. And I feel like I've had so many personal experiences too, like traveling for the first time out of the country because of PACE. So I think that there's definitely a niche environment here, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.
And since we're talking about experiences, if you would describe what your favorite academic experience was, and also how you got into it, because all of you seem to have taken really good advantage of those opportunities. But how did you start, and the first one that you wanted to get involved with, when you were new on campus and you didn't know a lot of people, and how did you get yourself started so that you just weren't standing back watching, but you really felt you could engage? So if you wouldn't mind starting, Manya, with your favorite academic experience.
For sure. My favorite experience was when I took the class Economics 400. It's called Seminar in Economics Theory, and every economics student is required to take it in their senior year. You work with a professor and a lab professor who teaches you, how to run a software. We're using Stata to run our regressions. So, this class was a bit different. It was challenging because you're not just it's not all just about quizzes and, the midterms and finals. You're actually doing economics. So you have to come up with a research topic, do a literature review, come up with an economics model, gather your data, and then, run regression, and then, discuss your results. And at the end of it, you have to present your topic in front of the entire economics faculty. So, throughout it all, yes, it was challenging, but I had the support of my economics faculty and the finance faculty because my topic was under the realm of financial economics. So I had the support of both departments. And, I learned how to advocate for myself, how to answer those questions, and what made me feel even more special was the fact that not every undergraduate college out there offers this opportunity to conduct economics research as a part of your curriculum. So it's a great selling point. It's a great talking point in interviews. And, because of this class, I have been able to, get accepted in the Economics Scholars Program, which happens at Dallas. It's a conference. You go there and you present. I got selected into that. I also was able to present my research at the the Dyson Society of Fellows. That's the premier honor society where, every major comes together and they present their research. So overall, it was a very rewarding experience. I totally learned a lot about my capabilities, built my confidence, that I can really undertake such an expansive and difficult project, which you only see graduate students doing, or even PhD level students.
So has it made you want to keep going with your education, or are you eager to get out into the job market?
Well, I'm definitely thinking of going to graduate school. I really enjoyed this process of researching, and I want to keep it with me because I think it's important that you know how to read what other people are researching and what they are saying about, different topics. So definitely help me out.
Thank you. And Amberlyn?
Yes. Similar to what she was saying, I also would definitely say my favorite academic experience has been the research side of things. And so I was actually given this opportunity, or that pathway was sort of paved for me through my connection with my honors mentor. So all first year students entering the honors college are matched with an upperclassman honors mentor with a similar major as theirs. And so my honors mentor is actually now my honors advisor. It's funny because she's on a pre-med track as well, but she's doing her master's at the Pleasantville campus. And so in the meantime, she's working at Pace. So long story short, I got the opportunity to work in the lab that I'm currently in. And through my research, I've been investigating basically the disease cryptosporidiosis. It's not very common in America, but it is in economically deprived countries because it's spread through water contamination. So in parts of the world where there's not clean water sources, it's a very prevalent disease that takes the lives of millions of people every year. And so what I've been doing is investigating 2 different strains of the parasite that causes the disease, one that contains a virus and one that does not. And I've been trying to see what the role of the virus is because it's not known. And the perennial goal of that research is to hopefully develop some sort of treatment, antidote, or remedy for people who were suffering from that illness. And so through that research, I actually was able to fund that research through a grant that I received through the university's opportunities. And from there, I am now a published author in a scientific journal. I've been able to present that research, and I'm super excited to continue working on that through my senior year and write my honors thesis on that research.
Nice. And that is, it's considered an orphan field because, as you said, the people who get it tend to live in poverty. So from the drug company perspective, they're not going to be able to buy lots of expensive drugs, but the Gates Foundation and the National Institutes of Health have funded the Haskins Lab.
Exactly. That's where I do the research. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was the platform for which this derived.
Right.
And I just do want to point, just one last thing I want to add on is that I just want to reiterate how incredible it is that as an undergraduate student, I've been able to do this research. And in fact, science majors are required to do research as a part of their curriculum to graduate. And at most other institutions, you would find that undergraduates don't really get that opportunity. And if they do, it's doing very basic tasks such as cleaning around the lab and doing like secretary work within the lab. But at our university, all of the resources get poured into the undergraduates, and so it's not only common but required for our students to get research, which is just unheard of and really incredible.
Thank you. Brooke.
Yeah, so aside from my internships, my favorite academic experience would be one that I had just this past January. So last semester, I took a travel course. What a travel course is, it is a program where you take a class, and then at the end of the semester, whether it be during the January intersession or during May, during the summer, you travel to that destination with the entire class and the professor. So this past January, I went to Costa Rica for 10 days with my professor and with my class, and especially now, I am so grateful that I was able to have that opportunity, because when we came back, that's kind of when the pandemic started bubbling up. So I'm really glad that I was still able to have that experience. It has definitely been a highlight of my academic career. As I mentioned earlier, that was my first time out of the country, and I felt very, very safe going because I was with my professor and I was with my fellow students, and PACE really held my hand the entire time when it came to coordinating flights and coordinating travel plans once we were there. What was so special about the trip is while we were in Costa Rica, everything was planned out for us. So we had our own tour guide and tour bus, and we saw some really amazing things, some experiences that I will keep with me for a lifetime. It truly was like one of the most life-altering experiences. I don't want that to sound too dramatic, but I really enjoyed it so much. And on top of it, the course that I was taking was an English course, so it counted towards my major, and it counted towards a civic engagement credit, which all students are required to take before they graduate. And the civic engagement credit, what that means is while I was in Costa Rica, I was actually doing volunteer work. There's a program down there called CREAR, which basically is all about children who are in more like economically deprived areas, as Amber was mentioning before, but in Costa Rica, specifically Samara, Costa Rica. These students there, I came to learn that their education system is rather poor there. So some parents who are at work during the summer, they don't have anywhere for their children to go. So CREAR allows students to learn English and art skills. So it was such a cool experience, and I don't speak any Spanish, so I had to learn, and I had to try to survive while I was there to communicate with these children, and it was just one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had.
So it's something of an equalizer, because they didn't speak that much English and you had to learn Spanish, so it probably made you more accessible too.
Yes, I learned how to do duck, duck, goose in Spanish. So.
That's great. And
yes.
Amber.
So for me, my favorite academic experience happened this semester, and I just finished it up. So my department, the philosophy department, was hiring a new professor, and we had a 5-person committee that read all the applications and interviewed everybody, and I was the only student on the committee, so I really was the person that was I was the only student, so I had to, read all the applications. I was able to come up with my own questions, and it was just a really cool experience, because now I'm kind of thinking of even becoming a professor and going to grad school for philosophy, which was really cool. And I've always thought law school for myself, but now I'm really thinking about grad school on a serious note, just because of this experience. And it all came because I was really close with the chair of the philosophy department, and he's one of my mentors. So definitely a unique experience that I've loved doing. And we just finished, which is exciting.
So you say that he's one of your favorite people, but how did you first get to know him? Did you take a class from him, or did you just run into him because you're a major and at events? How did you make that first move to say, I'm really interested in what you do and I really want to be a part of that?
Yeah, so there was only 4 incoming majors for philosophy. So he reached out to me at first, but then my second semester freshman year, he ended up being my professor out of chance. And then ever since then, I just kind of went to office hours. I was the type of student that would sit in class. I love learning, but I wasn't very vocal, and I kind of overthink everything. So I'd go to his office hours and just double check like my notes were correct, if I had any questions, and that's just kind of how our relationship ended up forming. In office hours, all the professors here at Pace have to set aside certain hours for students to come in, and they're free for you to ask questions, which is great. It's a great way to form that like relationship. Just seeing them once a week or once every few weeks, going in and showing the effort that you actually like enjoy their class and want to get to know more.
And they're a much more informal kind of conversation. It can be about class material, but it can also be about other things. I think that one of the big differences between high school and college is that the college experience is about you becoming an adult and taking charge of your life. And part of that is that you get to reach out and like ask for help from a professor by going to the office hours. And I will tell you from the professor side of it, once you've set aside the time to talk to people, it's very lonely if students don't come. So you shouldn't feel like you're intruding on the faculty members' time. This is time they set aside to meet with you, and so they like it when people come and show interest in their subjects. As you probably noticed when you were reviewing faculty resumes for a job, faculty are people who so loved school and learning that they just never left it. And so when they meet somebody else that's interested in what they're doing, that's really a point of connection for them. And so just showing interest is about all you have to bring to an office hour when you meet with a faculty member. And the same is true, of getting tutoring or any of the other kinds of services that we provide. If you wait, Pace is a small-ish school, but it's not tiny. And if you wait until we notice that you are in like academic trouble, it'll take longer than it would if you notice that you want help and reach out for it, whether it's going to an office hour or going to the tutoring center. When my daughter was in college and I had to do one of these events, I said to her, what was the one thing you wish someone had told you before you came in? And her response was, get help sooner. Don't put it off. Don't think it's going to go away, but really take charge and get yourself the help you need, because it both makes you feel better because your problem is solved, and it's easier to fix these problems sooner than to delay, and then you feel like you're 3 weeks behind in your classes, and then how are you going to catch up? So the office hour concept is really important. And if you have a class conflict, almost all of the faculty say, or by appointment, meaning if you're busy when I'm free, then let's find a time we're both free and I can help you. So that's something important to take advantage of. So we're sort of running out of time, so I wanted to ask you all quickly, maybe starting with you, Amberlynn, what has it been like to change to remote learning, online learning, kind of on the fly this year? And put on your mic.
I would definitely say that it's been a challenge, mainly because, one of the reasons that I chose PACE is because of the close interaction you have with the faculty. I always say, one of the main things I try and get across to my tour groups when I give campus tours is that in terms of an academic discipline, the most valuable part of my education that I found so far is the accessibility to the professors. Not only that, but the majority of our professors have terminal degrees in their field, so they've achieved the highest level of education, and also too, the majority of them are adjunct, meaning that they have a career or they do research in the discipline that they're teaching, which makes them so passionate about what they are teaching, which really enriches the learning environment. So that, in combination with the small class sizes, just really makes it the most ideal learning environment that you could imagine. That's what I believe personally. And so having that accessibility to the professors, being able to engage with them so easily, and having them have those office hours that you just spoke elaborately about, that's really just fosters such a great environment. And it was really difficult because that was just all stripped away. Every aspect of my education that I admired and that I was so adapted to, and that allowed me to excel as much as I have in the last 3 years, just vanished. And now, and not only, I don't want to just say as a student side it's difficult, I definitely want to pay attention to the professors and applaud them, because they're just simply expected to be able to teach an online class like it's nothing, when half of them, in the nicest way possible, struggle using the technology when we're in person. So it's definitely been difficult. However, I do want to emphasize at the same time that I would definitely say PACE faculty holistically, but from my personal experience, speaking on behalf of myself, my professors have been nothing but understanding. I know some people who have been impacted more severely from this pandemic than others. I'm fortunate enough to not have some severe circumstances, but some students don't have access to internet. They may have a loved one who's actually been diagnosed with the illness. And so our professors have been more than accommodating, telling our classes that we can have extensions if we need to. They've been giving us the benefit of the doubt. They've been restructuring their courses. And they've really, whenever I found out that we were going remote, I actually had a panic attack, because I was thinking that I was just going to fail the rest of the semester, because I have such a hard time with online classes. But my faculty that I've been working with have really just restored my confidence in myself and my ability to do well, even throughout all of this craziness, because they've given me the tools that are necessary to do so.
Yeah, and our goal is to get back into the classroom, get back on campus as soon as it is safe to do so. And part of what we're planning to do, along the lines of what you're saying, of getting people up to speed with the technology, is we're going to be holding a much more vigorous program for, usually faculty self-select to teach online, or they prefer teaching in person. And often we'll have a faculty member who'll do the same course twice. So once as an online course and at the same time on campus. So, but they choose to do that, and now it's been imposed on everyone. Improving their skills, making use of not just Zoom, but there's a lot of really, we're discovering a lot of interesting software out there that does science experiments, so you can watch an experiment being done even if you can't do it yourself. If it's safe enough, you can do it in your house. So, but you don't want to blow up the house. So we've been trying to find adaptive ways of managing that. So do any of you, the rest of you, want to add to that? Have what your online experience has been like?
Yeah. Well, first, I want to be honest that, I'm kind of an extrovert, and I like to go to classes, take notes, ask those questions right away. I like that setting, and, just walking into campus, so much is just happening around you. Students are just lounging, doing their work. They're in the cafeteria. I mean, I like that. But all of a sudden, it's just, I'm the kind of person who needs a library to do their work, and that's just gone. So it's been difficult, challenging, yes. But, all these departments that we've been mentioning, the resources that are on hand, they've been really supportive in the transition. I mean, all night, overnight, all this transition to Zoom, we had no problem. They just gave us the instructions, and this is how it's going to be. And professors were also super accommodative. Like, we were mentioning how some people are international students and there's a time difference. Someone may not have internet access. So they've been really accommodative on that front as well. And, like career services is always checking up with you. Your international student services is checking up with you. And if you have any questions, they're always welcome. You can always email, and now you can always set up a Zoom meeting. So I think the process has been very supportive, and the transition was very good. But, it's the personal
it's a different world, no question about it.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand needing the library, but, I have found that if I get up in the morning as though I were going to work, like I'm one of the few people, my colleagues tell me, oh, you're actually wearing your jewelry. And it's kind of like, well, yes, because that's what puts me in the frame of I'm going to go to work. So I try to keep some of those normal behaviors up. And, you know, when I see my husband in his pajamas in the middle of the day, I kind of go like, you know, this is not a healthy attitude. So that I find that helps, that there's certain rituals that make me feel like, okay, I'm dressed for work. I'm going to go work. Then at the end of the day, I can put back into my around the house clothes, and then I know, okay, the work day is over. So trying to keep up some of these things, I think, is also helpful to everyone. We do have, just so you know, a PACE Cares fund that alumni have been contributing to. And when students who are having problems, a lot of the internet companies in our area have been offering special deals for students during this time where they're charging less. And if students have problems, we've been trying to get iPads out to them on loan. We've been trying to support them. And the alumni have been remarkably generous because they feel that relationship too. And many of them were also the first generation person in their family to get a degree, and they've been successful because of what PACE did for them. And so as a larger community, they are committed to everybody's success. We have a mentoring program that you can join where they can be helpful to you if they're in the same field, or if they're in a field you want to work in. You know, one of the things that I think really distinguishes arts and sciences majors is their versatility and ability to go into lots of different careers that may not align with their specific major, but that use the skills, the research skills, the writing skills, the presentation skills, so that whatever field you go into. And when our employers come to career services, often they say it's easier to teach a good speaker, thinker, writer how to do the technical job than it is to teach a technical person how to do the thinking, writing, presentation, and communication. So they look for our students in a lot of different fields. And so sometimes the person that you want to talk to as a mentor is not someone who is so much in your major, but in a field you might want to go in. So we promised an hour, and I think we're already a little bit over. So I want to really thank you. You were great. You are wonderful examples of how articulate and prepared our students are. So I really appreciate your being here. And I really appreciate all of you out in the audience that spent this time with us. And I hope that if you have questions, you will email me at dysondean@pace.edu, and I will connect you. If I don't know the answer myself, I will connect you to people who can provide it for you. We're going to leave the chat open for a while longer, so if you have more questions, please keep writing them. If for some reason, right after we close the chat, you say, oh my gosh, I wish I'd asked about this thing, please feel free to send those questions to the dysondean@pace.edu email as well, and I will make sure that your question goes to the appropriate advisor. And I want to thank all of you. I also want to thank all the behind the scenes people. Renee and your team, thank you very much for helping us to put this on. And I really look forward to seeing all of you in person and as soon as is safely possible. So stay well. I also urge you to do what I do, which is I collect all sorts of jokes and funny kind of material and funny YouTube videos, and I try to share them with my family, with my colleagues. In return, I hope they will share with me, because a good laugh every day makes you feel normal. And so try and do that. Try and share some of these things with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you all, hopefully over the summer, if not in the fall.